Good evening, everybody. It is the Like a Bad Neighbor podcast. It's your boy Justin. As with me always is the ever handsome Shades, aka Mike. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. What are we, episode 6? Episode 5?
Episode 6 of the Like a Bad Neighbor. Yeah, like and subscribe, please, and always give us some feedback.
We like
We
comments.
always appreciate it. And other things you guys want to talk about. Dude, so much has happened since the last pod. It's crazy.
Unbelievable. Well, why don't we talk about the games first? I mean, Wildcard weekend, you couldn't script any of these games better. Just pure cinema. Just unbelievable high energy games. A lot of drama, especially in those Saturday games. I did fall asleep a little bit on that New England game, but man,
I
all the
think I
games
think
are,
we all kind of did.
yeah.
The only person that didn't fall asleep is Justin Herbert because he just was annihilated. I think I don't know if he's still with us
Jeez.
amongst the living right now.
He
But
got
no, listen,
smoked.
you couldn't. You really, if you're the NFL, you could not ask for more when it comes to that slate. The last two games, I think, like you said, were a little bit more duds. The New England game and the Texans, once they seemed to dig in,
Mhm.
just made really short work of the Steelers and our good pal Aaron Rodgers.
Mhm.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. But listen, dude, I mean, where do you want to start? Because even the very first game, Panthers Rams, like kicked us off. I guess that's a good place to start, right?
Yeah, sure. So we were both at work. We were trying to go over to our coworkers' desks, and because a lot of them had like NFL Pass or whatever, and they were watching the game on their phone, and saw some clips here and there, and it looked like it was a back and forth affair. Man,
It,
Bryce Young, man, you got to be proud of him if you're a Panthers fan. He really stepped up to the plate. Um, he impressed me like in the second half of that game, watching the highlights. Yeah, I mean, you can't be mad at that performance. I mean, he's still really young. He's on the up and up. Their defensive coordinator, though, they got to fire that guy on the Panthers. I mean, you're calling prevent defense. It's like you had guys like lined up in that last drive like 50 yards away from the defenders, like from the offensive line, and it's just like I don't know, it
well,
wasn't a
I,
very good scheme.
I think you hit on a couple of things. It was interesting, right? When we were first watching that, it looked like almost heading towards the half, it was about to get a little out of hand.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden, if I remember correct, didn't Carolina like force a turnover? They got the ball and then they drove down the field and they were able to put some points on the board. And then from that, it ended up becoming a one score game heading into halftime. And like you said, it was seesaw back and forth.
Hmm.
I think the old adage, like they were playing not to lose that game,
Yeah, exactly.
and and they played a little scared. And you got to give a lot of credit to the Rams because they needed to make plays too. Um,
They made a lot
you
of
know,
boneheaded plays too. I mean, I was listening to a lot of the end on the radio on my drive home from work, and it seems like they were making some boneheaded plays with questionable decisions there. Um, they ultimately had like that last important drive that they scored the touchdown. Um, but I mean, you can't feel confident as a Rams fan going into to next week's game. I feel like. Um, Obviously
I
they could play a lot better versus the
mhm,
versus the Bears. Anything could happen. It is the NFL. It's week to week. But
mhm.
man,
No, listen, I know we didn't get a chance to reveal our picks, and maybe now we can actually, in
can we do
hindsight, well, listen,
revised
you
picks?
got you got 8 teams, you got 8 teams left. We could still make some picks heading
Sure.
into divisional if you want to bet. But I mean, the Rams were my team probably from the outset to win it all.
Okay.
I've been on them the entire like second half of the season, and listen, I feel like you're right. I feel like that was the game that they could have maybe gave away a little bit. I think they'll come a lot more prepared. Um, but that said, I mean, their opponent in this next round, if you want to jump, is what an impressive victory that the Bears had,
Yeah,
man. That was unbelievable.
that was the game of the weekend for me. That was the most fun to watch. It was the tale of two halves, right? I mean, the you were texting me like in the first half of that game. You were like, "Wow," like Kevin. Not Kevin. Love is just making it look
Jordan Love.
easy. Jordan Love is making it look easy out there. He's making them look stupid. Um,
Well, I told you that I didn't have them winning, but the dark horse in all of this could have been Green Bay. And
right.
listen, for one half, they looked every bit the best, and looked like they were going to be heading right down that path.
Hmm.
And the one thing that I can tip my cap about Chicago, like, did you see the stat? Like, I think they had 6 fourth quarter comebacks this year,
That's
like
incredible.
heading into the playoffs, and they do not give up. That team plays 4 quarters of football,
They do.
and listen, they needed every bit of it. I don't think, and we could get into a little bit more. I don't think you can do that with the Rams. I think the Rams won't let you come back from
Hmm.
a hole that big if you dig one that big. But I mean,
The Bears, man. I mean, I was just watching like that first half, and you saw the cameraman cut to Caleb Williams just like going off the field, just yelling at his players. Like he's got that fire in him, and I like that about him. It's kind of hard to like see that come out of him when he's got the painted nails, but I mean it works. I mean that's him.
do you
he,
think do you think that he that level of listen, I agree with you. You want a fiery leader on that team, and I think it meshes really well. He's got a very similar attitude to Ben Johnson. I
yeah.
think Ben Johnson is the same way,
Hmm.
and I think that's why it's a great mix right now.
Hmm.
But also, I mean, does that ever worry you?
Yes, it does. And I was texting you. I was like, he's got to calm his ass down, or he's not going to come back in this game. But I don't know. Ben Johnson must have had an awesome halftime speech because whatever he told his guys, like they just flipped the script just like that. And for them to have the biggest postseason comeback in their franchise history is really impressive. And I knew the Packers were going to come out firing out of the gate because as you know, they were coming off a 4 game losing streak, so you knew they were coming ready to play the game.
Well, you knew that. You knew that they wanted to try and take the crowd out of it. How long has it been that Chicago has had a playoff game that they've hosted? Let alone been in. You knew that place was going to be rocking,
Yep.
and sure enough, they were able to early take the crowd out of it. There were a couple of little moments here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but for the most part, you're right. They did everything that they were supposed to do. They executed. Played a really solid first half of football. And then I feel like you're right. I think they got a little bit tight coming out of the half.
Yep.
They got the ball coming out of the half. I mean, that was an
Yeah.
easy chance for them to put the ball on the, like
The
just
Packers
put some more
got it.
points on the board. Yeah, the Packers, I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's right.
And on top of that, what was it, three or four straight 3-and-outs?
Yeah.
I feel like that team had it. Chicago stepped up,
Yep.
and once again, I would have thought you would have had Josh Jacobs pounding the ball, um, and it seems like they never got into a good rhythm,
Mm-hmm.
kind of until late in the fourth quarter.
Christian Watson had a great game. Romeo Dobbs had a great game, but
Hmm.
yeah, they should have had established a little bit better of a run game. Um, yeah, that kicker, what's his name, McManus,
Oh,
cost
McManus. Oof.
cost the team 7 points. They could have won off
Yeah,
his field goals. So
yeah, yeah. And
that's a
and
tough
listen,
look.
you heard during the broadcast they kept alluding to the missed extra point, the missed extra point. He missed 2 field goals.
2 field goals and an extra
Like,
point.
what you could have won the game if you hit both of those.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, you got to play 4 quarters of football. You got to play complementary football. You got
Mm-hmm.
to have all facets of your team working: offense, defense, and special teams. And unfortunately for Green Bay, they have a long off season ahead of them. It
Yeah,
looks like they're retaining LaFleur
yeah,
based
it does.
on what they're saying. So they obviously like him there as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean a lot of questions, I guess, heading into the offseason for Green Bay.
Yep.
And if you're Chicago, I mean, please, I know I have a good like friend of mine that's a like a big Chicago Bears fan, and like us, they've been long suffering for so long, and
Dude,
it was
it's
exciting. It was exciting for them. It was exciting for him. I know he was like going absolutely nuts, and what a feel good story. I mean, this team might have arrived a little earlier than they expected to,
I think they did. Yeah. No, I agree with
but
that.
you get the right coach in there, and
And when you have
magic things
players,
can happen.
like Colston Loveland, who just had a slow start for the most part, for the season, and him just coming along, it used to just be all everybody talked about was Caleb Williams, DJ Metcalf, or D, DJ Moore. Um, this guy Loveland, he is a solid piece for them. You got Swift doing his thing.
Burden had a huge game.
Yeah, yeah,
Odunze was the one who was kind of quiet
yeah.
until he caught that big fourth down catch.
Right. Yeah, he didn't really do much that game, but he's coming off an injury, isn't he? Like that was
Yeah,
his first
he
game
was a
back in a
little
while.
banged up. I loved him coming out of college. I wish the Jets snagged him. We were like a pick too late on that one, and that's.
Hmm.
But I mean, look, he's had a huge impact. They've drafted well. They made the
Yeah.
most of those picks that they got from the Panthers,
Yep.
who ironically also like didn't really. I mean, listen, like you said, like I don't want to jump completely backwards, but they made the playoffs too. The Bears made the playoffs. Like very very impressive with
Chicago,
the young teams.
Chicago is just on the up and up. And shout out my best friend on PS5, Slick, who's a native from Chicago. I play 2K with him like every day. Shout out Slick. He was telling me that the Bears won, the Blackhawks won, the Bulls won, and the Cubs signed Bregman
Alex
all in the
Bregman.
same night. So Chicago just had a weekend for the ages. So it's
Yeah.
like,
No, that's a pretty solid weekend, especially for, teams that haven't won a whole lot
yeah.
for their city. So
Hmm.
excellent job by Chicago for putting on. Um, you want to jump right to the next matchup?
Yeah, what do we got? Buffalo Bills and Jacksonville Jaguars.
There you go.
So they
There
were
you go.
my
Your buddy Liam Cohn. Oh man.
So we didn't record this, but we were at work talking, and I was telling Justin like, look, like if the Jaguars somehow pull this off against the Bills, I have them going all the way. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. They ended up losing in heartbreaking fashion. Um, yeah, it was a tough game. Um, I mean,
Listen, I know
what
you
were
were
the biggest
glazing. I
takeaways
know
for
you were
you?
glazing Liam Cohn pretty
Yes,
good.
I was.
So
Yeah.
just a tad, just a tad. And
Hmm.
listen, no, he did a phenomenal job this year. I think, you know, Ben Johnson had a huge impact on Caleb Williams. I feel like I really do feel like Liam Cohn had a huge impact on Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
It's a shame that the season ended the way it did with him kind of throwing a pick. I felt like they could have been able to move the ball a little bit
Yep.
down the stretch. I think that I don't understand why the Bills did what they did. I guess you could take the points in that situation when they were on the 1 yard line, but I felt like why did you even give that team a chance
Yeah, they scored on like
to
first
come
and
back?
goal, right? They could have
First
just
and goal
kneeled
with like
it.
over a minute left,
They could have
and
just
you could have kneeled. You could have kneeled like
right.
and took a half-yard loss. You still have Josh Allen. Like I would have ran. You would have still had at least you could have snapped it whenever you wanted, but you could have had 30 seconds on the clock and did the same thing that you did with Josh Allen
Yeah.
from the 1.5 yard line, and it would have been just as successful. You'd still
Right.
have 3 cracks at it. So
Right.
I don't quite understand that rationale. Um, I think that it really could have came
It
back to
could have
bite them, but
backfired on him. Yeah.
shout out to McDermott. McDermott said, I trust my defense enough to.
He was like telling his guys, take the points when you can. We'll leave it up
Mhm.
to our defense. And
Yeah,
he put the trust in his defense. And what are they? They got an interception that first play, or was a tip pass to an interception?
yeah,
It's tough,
yeah.
man. Dude, I don't know how Josh Allen even survived that game. He was just getting beat up the entire game. Like, remember there was one play where like he threw a pass and it hit the dude's like helmet. Looked like his freaking hand bent the other way. I was like, this dude's not making it past the second half. But shout out Josh Allen. Like, he's gonna be banged up. Going into the next game. Who's they got? The Denver
Patriots.
Broncos. No, they got Denver
No,
Broncos.
no, no, no. I'm sorry. You're right. No, Broncos.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough game for them. But this is the year to do it, Josh. Like everybody's been saying on social media. You don't have Patrick Mahomes. You don't have Lamar Jackson in your way. You don't have, I mean, Tom Brady. You know, it's like,
It sets up very nicely for them. I think Denver's a tough matchup. That defense is really, really tough.
mm-hmm,
Um, the one concern I have about Denver in general, we could get into it a little later,
mm-hmm,
but their offense just disappears on them for quarters or even halves at a time.
yeah,
They don't have, it seems like, a standout offensive weapon. They
right,
have a bunch of really good guys, but they don't have an X factor type
mm-hmm,
guy. But listen, I mean, what else can you say about, like, just listen, the Bills went out there and they won a tough football game, you know, away on the road, and they're gonna have to do it all, the entire playoffs. They're not gonna get a home game, but
mm-hmm,
listen, maybe you're right. Maybe this is the year that they just continue to roll through. We've been waiting for it for a long time. I think a lot of Bills fans have too, and I really, even though we could have had him, and that's the year we drafted Sam Darnold, I don't begrudge the Bills. I really don't.
no,
Like, good for them too. I know
mm-hmm,
they're a division rival, but it's not like the same anger that I have like towards like the Patriots.
yeah. I mean, shout out Jacksonville. They had a great comeback season from last year. You know, we talked about it in the
Frauds.
last episode. I'm not calling them frauds. You want to talk about frauds? You talk about the Chargers. Those are frauds. But yeah, no, not.
Them's fighting words.
Yeah, I mean, they just look bad in that game. We'll get into it in a little bit, but
Speaking of frauds, also, you know what? Couldn't happen to a nicer fan base. Niners Philly.
yeah, that was an interesting game. You got people calling for Kevin Patullo's head, man. That
Well, they
offensive
got it.
coordinator. What? He's out.
He's out.
Oh, just I didn't even know. Oh my
Yeah, he's
god.
out. He was out. They announced it today.
Jeez. Okay. Wow. I did not know that. Well.
Yeah, no, he's out. There were a bunch of play calls that they had that had me scratching my head in that game, but I would have thought they would have gotten. I thought they would have had a well rested Barkley, and they just never, like, he had a couple of nice runs, but I didn't feel like they ever really got him going. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he could have been a big difference maker for them. You could talk about the drops that Antonio Brown had. Um,
Yeah, he had some big
I,
drops.
I'm sorry, Antonio
Hey,
Brown. Gosh, AJ.
AJ Brown. Prayers to George Kittle, man. What did he tear his ACL?
Yeah,
That's
that
tough.
that looked bad. I felt bad. You know what? I don't know if that gave them a lift a little bit, rallying around him.
Rally cry. Okay.
I'll tell you what, though, that kid Tonjes, he's a really, really nice substitute. He made a couple of really, really nice catches, and
Yeah, and
um,
shout out
it does.
Purdy just getting other guys involved. Like he's doing this without Kittle. He's doing this without Brandon Ayuk, Bosa. Like this just. I mean, the guy's good. The guy's definitely really good at his craft. And I mean, it doesn't hurt that Christian McCaffrey's on your team. That guy's
No,
just
no,
automatic.
that guy's a chess piece, man. You can line him up pretty much anywhere,
Yeah.
and he's a matchup nightmare. And he showed it. He showed it throughout that entire matchup. Um,
Put some
the same
respect
way
on
the Rams
Jusic's
kind of
name,
move
man.
Puka, it's the
Jusic,
same thing.
Jusic's been awesome for them too. Like,
Yeah. No, yeah, as a blocker, as a pass catcher, as just a leader on that offense, he's well respected, which
yeah,
you don't get a lot of, like, fullback love these days in the NFL, but he's probably the most well recognized and Long Island native, by the
that
way.
is right. Yeah, that's true. Can we talk about what's his name? Rob Sala for a second. So
Do you think he's done that phenomenal of a job?
I
Like,
do. I do.
you do? Okay.
So he's so a few years back before he, you know, joins the Jets, he's on this team as the defensive coordinator. Looks like Superman, right? He leaves and takes a head coaching position with the Jets and just he gets the life sucked out of him. Like he just is a shell of himself. finally gets out, goes back to the 49ers the year after he gets fired, which is this year, and he's back to being Superman. You see this guy just like jumping for joy, like going crazy on the sideline. We never got to see that with him. It's
I
just
think you saw a
unreal.
little bit of that. I think you did. I think you saw a little bit of that. It's tougher to be that expressive if you're losing games.
Yeah.
Um, that winning helps a lot, but the more and more I think about it, like I think that yeah, he has had a lot of injuries that he had to deal with on that defense. Um, I'm not looking at it right offhand. I'm sure we can pull it up, but like I don't think that defense is an elite unit. I think that they make, opportunistic plays. They can come up with some key turnovers, but there was nothing I feel like they did schematically that really wowed me. I
Mm-hmm.
think that the Eagles just executed really, really poorly in that game, and that's why the offense sputtered. I think if Jalen Hurts had a halfway decent game, I think the Eagles win. I think there was a lot of factors that needed to play out, um, into San Francisco's hand in order for them to have an opportunity to win that game. And shout out to them for taking them. But I don't necessarily, I thought the Eagles lost that game more than the 49ers won it,
To
to
be
be
honest,
perfectly
like
honest.
I don't really follow the West Coast teams that much, but no, you hit it on the head. They're like the bottom half of the league in defensive rating. Like they're 20th overall in total yards allowed. They're averaging like 340 yards a game. So I
Losing
guess.
Warner hurts. He's a great defensive player, but
Mm,
it takes more than that to dominate a defense. And
mm,
I don't know. I wasn't like I said. I'm not blown away by their defense, to
yeah.
say the least. I think out of all the teams that are left, I think they're probably the most vulnerable.
Mm,
Shout out to the NFC West though. I do want to what look. They got all three of their teams still in it.
yeah.
I know obviously Seattle had a bye, so it's a little easier to advance when you didn't have to play a game.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, all three of those teams still alive and kicking. That's a strong division.
Absolutely. And I mean, these Eagles fans, I can't repeat some of the stuff they've been saying about like the coaching staff. It's just, it's
You
not
want
good.
you want the key to like the Eagles, like right here in the fan base, and like why you want an idea. Well, they know why they're hated, and they really don't care. But like, just there was a story I think going into Saturday, yeah, Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
where um the 49ers team bus was going to practice and the Phillies fans like threw an egg. They said a hard-boiled egg. I don't think a hard-boiled egg would shatter a window on a team bus. I feel like those things are built to withstand a lot worse.
Yeah.
But of course, like of all the things, like oh man, overboard again. You would figure a lot of the comments. No, half the comments were Phillies fans saying, "Oh, Philly should sign that guy to a pitching contract." Like, give me a freaking break, guys. Like, you're just jerks. Like,
Yeah,
why?
there's
Why?
reports of like Eagles fans throwing beer cans at 49ers fans on the way into the stadium after the tailgate. It's just like, come on, man. Like,
It's it's one of the few places in this world where I will not wear an opposing team's jersey like into that stadium whatsoever.
yeah,
Will
can't
not
do it.
happen.
Just can't do it.
Even as a Giants, even a divisional game with the Giants, you would figure, all right, they're used to it, they're close to one another.
Mm-hmm.
You'll probably see a few people. No, don't like seriously, just don't do it to yourself.
Yep,
Like don't.
it's crazy. I guess you want to talk about the. Did we miss any games so far?
No, I mean we kind of touched on New England versus Chargers, but there really wasn't anything to write home about that one, other
Yeah.
than we hope you're alive and well, Justin Herbert,
Yeah.
and we'll send you a get well soon card.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that was just complete dominance. Can we? You know what I do want to shout out actually though, in
Mm.
from the Monday night game last night.
Oh yeah,
I
let's
mean
talk about that game.
Texans. I've said this to you. I think that and they kind of affirmed it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be the best defense. You want to talk about defenses? I think
Yeah.
that's the best defense alive in the playoffs, and defense wins championships, man. That'll be a fun match. That's a good matchup for heading into next week.
For
New
sure.
England and Houston.
Dude, shout out Sheldon Rankins, former Jet.
Rank.
He had that like tip pass and recovered fumble thing. Went to took it to the house. Um, felt good doing that against Rodgers. And speaking of other former Jets, you had Brandon Eccles on the Steelers with a pick, so that was kind of cool.
Hmm.
You know, he was a Jet for like 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, if he was on the Jets this year, maybe he would have gotten the one,
Yeah,
the
that was the
one that we needed.
closest. Besides DJ Reed, I mean, I guess he had a couple of picks this year, but that was the closest thing the Jets had to an interception this year. Was watching Brandon Eccles doing the playoffs. So shout out to him.
Yeah.
On to greener pastures, but
Well, and I think the biggest piece of anything is, and we really should talk about this. They Tomlin's out,
Tomlin is out. Unbelievable.
voluntary leave of absence
You know
is
that
what they
was
said.
like that was the Steelers owner telling him like, look, we don't want to fire you. Just like let yourself go and put out a press release. You know, it was one of those type of deals. I think.
He's looked very tired, I feel like, every season. And but here's the weird part, right? Because like Steelers fans are like, oh, this is brilliant. He stepped down, but
It's
somehow
not
the Steelers still retain their rights to him.
really.
So it's a perfect, yeah. That I was reading about this. So the Steelers retained their rights to him as a coach because Tomlin willfully walked away while he's still under contract.
Oh,
So if another team wants him, they have to trade for him. Kind of the way the
wow.
the way that the Saints set things up with Sean Payton.
Okay.
Did you realize what the Broncos gave up for Sean Payton?
No.
They gave up a first, a second, and then they got Sean Payton and a third round pick back from the Saints
Wow.
in that trade.
Huh. Interesting.
So I mean, not for nothing. For a guy that you probably don't want to coach your team anyway moving forward. Like I don't love
How
when
do you
teams do
not
this.
want this guy around? I don't get it. You put a terrible roster, and he's still making the playoffs every year. When have they had a decent roster? Like they
Well,
brought in
it's
Aaron Rodgers, they had freaking Justin Fields. Like they haven't had a quarterback in years. 19 years with the team, never had a losing record. He
tough.
hasn't had he hasn't had a playoff win in like 7 years, which is bad. But he's I mean, it's quite an accomplishment.
Listen, I'd take him in a
Why
heartbeat
don't we
for the Jets as a head coach.
why don't we reverse roles real quick? How about put like how about put Tomlin on the Ravens, right? And then Harbaugh on the Steelers. Do you think that Harbaugh would take that team to the playoffs? I don't think so.
I, mm, I think the same thing could have happened. Like either way. I, I think you're right. I think you're right. Um, but look,
I think they're gonna regret letting him go, bro. Honestly, do.
where do you?
Well, there are a lot of candidates out there that are hungry for jobs right now.
But listen, the Steelers, I would think that that's a very desirable job.
Oh yeah, with the
True, you don't have a
tradition.
quarterback. I mean, look, you don't have a quarterback,
Yeah.
but but that said, I mean, you have a great listen. You have a great ownership group. The Rooneys still, I think, own that team, if I'm not mistaken, right? So,
Four coaches in the entire franchise's existence. How is that even
mhm.
possible? That is what you call tradition, man.
Yeah. No, you got listen, a very, very historic
Who-
franchise with a really rabid fan base that are diehards and a sustained track record. The one I don't want to say it's a knock, but the one thing that I feel like makes it more impressive for a guy like Tomlin is, like you said, because they were always a 500 team or better, they never had a top draft pick. You had to keep
Right.
retooling that cupboard,
Yeah.
with
Great point.
mid-round picks, and you still somehow made it very, very competitive for a long time. I feel like a lot of these teams, though, in order for them to truly like rebuild, they got to hit rock bottom.
Mhm.
And then some teams stay down there. Some teams that we love and hold very dear to our hearts, and then other teams, like look at what New England did. Look at what Chicago has done. Look at what Carolina did. All of these teams drafted a quarterback. They made a good selection. Even look at the Broncos.
Mm.
Broncos too. You have a good coach. You have a good quarterback play. You build the team around those guys, and then all of a sudden, look at how quickly these teams can turn it around.
Absolutely.
I think it's actually a testament to how good the Steelers have been, and to Tomlin. Tip my cap to him.
Yep.
Like, you never had a top draft pick, and you never suffered a losing season, and you just continue to field a competitive team. But listen, as soon as Harbaugh went, my first instinct, and I don't even think I texted you this, but I said, could Tomlin go, even though he made the playoffs, could Tomlin go if he loses that game?
Right.
And sure enough, here we are. And I think he probably takes it. Wouldn't it be fun to see that guy in the booth?
Yeah. Yep.
Supposedly, Fox is like the front runner to sign him. Dude, I would love to see him in studio.
Dude, how
Um,
sick would it be if they signed like John Gruden to replace him? That'd be so sick.
I think that ship has sailed, though.
Yeah,
I
it
think
might
it
be.
ended so bad for him in Vegas. Is Vegas still paying him too?
Yeah, they are.
I mean, I don't know. A guy like Gruden, I think that ended so bad. I don't think that he gets another coaching gig. I
Mm,
just don't.
yeah. Well, Rogers, this might be the last time. That might have been his last game. Um, he last night he got to fly home to his $28 million mansion in Malibu, and probably thinking and replaying that last play in his mind. Knowing that his last pass of his career is going to be a pick six. It's got to be tough to live with. Don't feel bad about it. Love it for him.
Listen, I think as the chapter closes on his career, if this is the last we've seen of his playing career, um, you tip your cap.
Oh,
You
I will.
know,
I'm just
I,
a
I,
hater. I'm
I
just a
no,
hater.
I know. Listen, I don't love his Jets tenure either. Um, but the dude had a Hall of Fame career.
Absolutely.
You could hate him for his political views, or you could hate him for just some of the outrageous things he did. I'm more pissed off. I don't listen. Blowing out your Achilles is rough enough. Unlike the first play from scrimmage, I don't. Obviously, he would never want to do that on purpose. I
Sure.
just I just hated how much sway he had within the organization. Like, it feels like, and I
Right.
don't want we can spend hours talking about the Jets, but like, I just hate the fact that, like, I feel like we've thrown every single thing against the wall. First, we tried to hire the coach who was smarter than everyone else, like Adam Gase. Then you tried, and you wanted the coach and the GM on equal footing. Then you tried giving Joe Douglas more power. That didn't work. Then you try bringing in Aaron Rodgers and letting Aaron Rodgers, a player, not a coach, not a GM, a player, bring in all his buddies and start making the decisions around the team. And now you're kind of back to square one again, where, we don't love the coach. The GM seems like he's pretty solid so
Mhm.
far, but I don't know. And but the bottom line is, like, Aaron Rodgers has that reputation a little bit. Um,
What's your
did you see he
favorite?
shouted out LaFleur, by the way? I thought that
That
was
was
really
kind of cool.
interesting.
Yeah, he shouted out Packers and Lafleur, and that was kind of cool. Um,
I guess he didn't love McCarthy, huh?
I guess not. Um,
He didn't. He
out
didn't.
of his celebrations, what would you say is your favorite?
You like the discount double check? Are you a
That's
discount double check guy?
I like the one where he's just running like Boy Wonder and he goes like this. Like he
Oh
just
yeah, like the
I
Super
like that one.
Mario.
Yeah, he did that a couple, maybe one or two times on the Jets. I was like, yes. But yeah, that one's my favorite. Also,
Okay.
the one with the belt was kind of cool.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Wasn't
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah,
discount
that's
double
just
check?
okay. Yeah, that's just got double check.
Yeah, the sumo.
Yeah.
No,
Interesting
that's
character, man. But yeah,
yeah,
he's
man.
future Hall of Famer. It's tough to see him go out like that. I am a hater, and I will just take one more jab at him. Supposedly he got married over the off season, and he wore his wedding band religiously every game, like during every game. But nobody knows who his wife is. Like, kind of weird.
Didn't he just take like an Instagram post, and it's like an inflatable doll next to him with a shirt that said Mrs. Rogers on it?
No way.
I think, yeah.
Find that for me, please.
Please. Oh, dude, you're giving me a homework assignment. Hold
Yes.
on 1 second.
No,
I'm gonna
later,
try and
later.
find it now.
Don't do it now, but later.
I gotcha. Oh, dude, I'll send that to you. Yeah, I saw it on like I want to say on like Instagram or Twitter. It was one of the two,
Okay.
but there was like, and listen, I don't know. That could have been made by a fan, but it looks like it was from his account that he posted. Like that's what makes it even funnier. So
Very strange.
no, well, listen, he's an out there dude, but
Yep.
darkness retreats. I wonder if he goes on another darkness retreat to determine whether or not he's got any more in the tank. You know.
We'll see. But yeah, you're touching on the Jets a little bit. We did sign a future Hall of Famer, by the way, Bailey Zappi.
Oh yeah.
Nice little depth piece. I
You
can't remember one thing he's done in the NFL so far, other than that. I guess he played against like the Browns like 4 years ago on the Patriots, and I think he went like 23 of 39, threw for 300 yards, and then we never heard of him again.
Yeah.
So
What was him and Mac Jones? It was like
yeah,
him and
he
Mac
was backing up
Jones.
Mac Jones that year. They were going back and forth because one of my employees that I worked at before we even met, he was a big proponent of Bailey Zappi. He hated Mac Jones. He was like, Bailey Zappi's got to get more games, more games. He got a couple of games that year, but then we never heard from him ever again. So I guess he's just been a practice squad player.
Probably for good reason, dude. If you want the biggest news that could actually affect the Jets a little bit,
What?
happened in the college ranks, but it looks like Dylan Raiola signed with
Mm,
Oregon.
that's right.
Dylan Raiola's coming off a
Pretty bad
broken
injury.
leg,
Yeah.
a broken leg. So I don't know how bad that is, or if that's going to cause him to redshirt for a season. But to me, listen, just reading the tea leaves, I don't think Oregon brings a
Tea
guy like
leaves.
that on unless they have a good idea that Dante Moore might be leaving. And if you're Dante Moore, I don't necessarily know that, unless you were given promises that like, listen, if you want to come back, the spot's yours, but
Mm-hmm.
kind of let us know what's going on with you. Um, but I mean, if you're reading tea leaves, I would think that means he's coming out, and that means you
I
got two
think it's
quarterbacks
I think
at the
it's a
top of the
foregone.
draft.
Yeah, I think it's a foregone conclusion. He's gonna go into the draft. Like you don't sign a guy like Rayola to be on to back up Dante Moore. No, he's better than that. Um, yeah, so the Jets legitimately have a shot to get a top two quarterback again. Um, I don't know how
But
I feel. We watched the game. We watched the game on Friday. I wasn't impressed with Dante Moore. Threw a pick six, first play of the game. Not a great look. He did have some moments in the game where we were like, wow, he's
yeah,
got talent.
he could make passes. I think if you listen to any sort of draft pundit out there, they're all saying, listen, I mean, he only has 20 career starts.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
no,
going to take
18.
time for him. 18.
18.
Oh, it's 18. It's not even 20. Oh,
And
wow.
there's a big stat out there. The last like 7 or 8, top draft picks who've started less than 18 games became like bench players and or practice squad players. So it's the trend isn't going very well for us in that
But
regards. But
but
then
that
again,
said,
Mendoza already only has 19 games, but he's the exception, right? He's the golden boy. So
no, look, I think that he's listen, if we're talking about Mendoza, he has the benefit of playing for head and shoulders the best college football team in the country. I'd be shocked if Miami pulls out a win on Monday.
right.
I'm sorry, next Monday. But
Indiana just looks like in their own league. I mean, and you got to shout out Kurt Signetti. He has turned that program around completely. That guy should have every NFL owner just knocking down that door looking to try to sign that guy because whatever he's doing, it's working. And I think I texted you during that game. They're up like 55-15 at one point, and he's like running out on the field and he's just barking orders. He's like yelling at his defensive core, like, get off the effing field. Or like he said something to the effect like to Javon Sharp or whatever. He's like, I guess he was hurting on one play, and he was like, "Get your ass back in the game!" Like, dude, you're up 40. Can we get a look at Alberto Mendoza, please? Like, come on. I wanted to see his brother play, but he didn't get a chance to. But man, that
Listen,
guy.
I think that no, but great coaching. Going back though to listen, I after watching the two of them side by side, um, I think that you had one guy that just was humming along. Um, I'll say this: he hasn't had to come from behind in many games. Like
Right.
he's always been within a couple of scores. I think they might have been down by like 10 points at some point during the season. I'd be interested to see what how deep of a hole they ever were in a single game this season. But you
I'd like
can't
to.
argue undefeated.
I'd like to see Mendoza under some pressure. Like,
Like
how is this
that
guy
offensive
under?
line, seems like it's unbelievable.
They're such a unit, bro. Like every play against Oregon, it was just like they're just moving up into you. Like they were never going backwards. It's like always go for. Like it's great for a
Yeah,
quarterback.
the
Like,
running game was working, and when you have all facets of your offense humming like that, and you bury the other team in a deep hole, your whole playbook is open. I mean, you see what the results are, and the one thing I'll say about Dante Moore is, um, I he looked like he was frustrated at some parts of the
yeah,
game,
he did.
and rightfully so. But I never felt like he was completely lost. I felt like he ran into some bad luck, like that fumble where the running back basically knocked the ball out of his hands on that pass. That was just some bad luck. But you could see the arm talent. I think he's got a more live arm than Mendoza. I really do. There
Hmm.
were a couple of passes he threw that just he dropped them right in the bucket. But that said, I do think that if you're gonna bring him onto your team, like if you're the Jets, you need to give this guy a year to develop.
Have to,
You need to give him. You have to commit to a bridge starter if you're gonna bring him on, which could very well mean that the head coach might be gone if they have another season of like misery this year and don't show much improvement.
dude.
But I also
Remember when you mentioned Kyler Murray? You were thinking like there's a good chance like Kyler Murray could be signed. I feel like now that I'm thinking about it, because Aaron Glenn's job is, he's technically on the hot seat next year. I feel like they're gonna do something drastic to get Kyler Murray as that quarterback for next year. Also, draft Dante Moore to sit behind him, which I think would be a decent play for next year. But if it doesn't work out, Glenn's gone. So like, and Kyler Murray's got his injury history, but I
he's
think
got his
that's the
video game
most.
history.
Yeah, I think that's the most realistic version. Like you sign a Bailey Zappi as a third stringer or whatever, or back up to Kyler Murray, have Dante Moore sit and be the third. I mean, that might be the way to go next year. It just depends on how much you have to give up to get him.
I don't know if I'll put it to you this way. If you have if you have Dante Moore, if you end up picking him second, or listen, we don't know. I mean, maybe the Raiders fall in love with Dante Moore, draft him first
Doubt it.
overall, and we end up with Mendoza.
But
The
the Ravens have
ironically,
the Raiders have a weird drafting history. They
you said
definitely
that, yeah.
don't go by the book. They do the unexpected a lot of times. So you
I,
never
I
know.
mean, I guess it really will come down to who Brady likes more. And you would think, just based on the type of prospect each of them is, that Brady would go after Mendoza.
Yep.
Um, by the way, did we touch base on that article about how like a Jet scout had a fourth round grade? Can we just can we just alert our fan base that this former scout hasn't hasn't been a scout for the Jets since 2003? He was like a
2002.
scout from 98 to 2003. That was like the worst clickbait article I think I've ever seen.
Dude,
Um, like, oh man, he's not wired into the Jets' decision-making process. Like, give me a freaking break.
Yeah.
Like, that was like such irresponsible journalism.
What did they
It, it
what did they grade Mendoza? Like a 4? What does that even
that's
mean?
what that well, that's what that scout says. Oh, he's got a fourth round grade. Listen,
Fourth round? Oh,
all
fourth
right, you want to know
round.
what? Yes, yes. You know what? Let's have a really hot take and take the guy that's going one or two guaranteed, and just let's put a fourth round grade on him and see how many clicks we can get. I mean, come on. No wonder you haven't been a scout for 20 years in the NFL. Like, seriously, like that's such buffoonery. It's ridiculous.
That's
But
ridiculous.
but that said, I mean, look, if you had let's just say the Raiders go one and they go Dante Moore, like, then a guy like Mendoza, you can make him a day one starter. He
Mhm.
seems to have the poise, and he seems to have the just the maturity to handle it. And I think he's a little older too. I think he's like 22 or 23. Dante Moore's 20 on the other hand.
Mhm.
Like, he hasn't grown into, his full potential. So listen, it will be very interesting. I think a lot of what happens with the Jets will be dictated by the draft. Um,
Yep.
and listen, they have 66 million in cap space as of right now, and I'm sure they could clear a little bit more if they do something with Justin
I
Fields
thought they had
contract. And
75.
oh, it's
It's
75.
yeah,
Okay,
75.
okay.
Um,
So maybe
you know what
74 and a
sucks,
half
dude?
after Zappy.
We got to wait 3 months for the draft. It's so
Yeah,
far away.
April,
Damn. Oh well.
April, April. But listen, like, it is what it is, and this, you have to give these guys the chance to go through their evaluations. Muji already basically said that, he hit the offseason, like the day after the season ended. He's like, now the season starts. It was great to be able to meet with all the players, see, where they evaluate things, where things went wrong.
Mhm.
And a lot went wrong. Let's be real. But I look forward to seeing what him and the scouting department put together.
Yep. Um. So I mean, you got division rounds next week. Who's your pick to go all the way?
I still like the Rams.
Rams.
I really do. I think this is their year. I think this might be the last shot
Okay.
for Stafford and company. Um,
Maybe right.
yeah, I just don't see Stafford getting another chance to get there. A lot of things, it seems like, have come together for them
Mhm.
to be able to do it. I think they have a good defense. I don't think a great defense, but I think they have a good enough defense. And I think Stafford's got enough. I mean, they got that, just unbelievable chess piece in Puka,
Mhm.
and Devontae Adams and Kyron Williams, and Colby Parkinson can make a play too.
Mhm.
So I think they got a really, really good offense. I think they have a decent line. I think they have the decent defense. I think they can do it. Um, who do they have? They're going up
They're
against.
going up against the Bears, who's
They're
my
going up against
pick.
that. So that is the
That's
Bears.
my
That's right.
dark horse pick. They're
That's your
probably
dark horse. Okay.
they're not going. They're probably not going to win that game. But come on, let's be real. If the Rams and the Patriots make the Super Bowl, that's going to be the most boring Super Bowl out of all the combinations you could possibly get.
Oh, listen.
I'm hoping for ratings purposes. Well, I don't care about ratings, but the Bears and Bills would just like feed families, bro. That would be so fun to watch. That's
That would
my
be
hope.
that would be a hell of a matchup. Yeah, I mean, listen, we can root for that. I can get behind that too and root for it. That's not what I think is going to happen.
Right.
And listen, one of these teams, I feel like, don't you feel like Seattle or the Broncos, like, are going to make it? I'm not saying that I think they should. I just, don't you think, like, one of those top seeds, like, will
I'm not
probably make the Super
convinced.
Bowl?
I'm not
No?
convinced Seattle will do it. I feel like Sam Darnold just hasn't developed that like big game type of thing just cuz big game like confidence yet. I don't think he's there just yet. Maybe he's like a year or two out, but he hasn't
You
done
think he
an
gets there though?
No, I don't. I think
No,
the
no, no. I'm not
49ers.
saying this year. I'm not saying this year. I'm
Oh,
saying, like, you
yeah,
think
in
he
the
can.
next
You
couple
think he can
years I
get there?
think he will.
Okay.
I don't think they're beating the 49ers, bro. Like they got a tall task. I'd have to look at their matchups over the course of the year, but I mean,
Well, listen, they still, that's the toughest division in football,
yeah.
and they held their own,
Hmm.
and then some. And quite honestly, like, listen, they're getting San Francisco where when they're very vulnerable, like they are very banged up.
Hmm.
Um, you never know. Like you said, Purdy can just go out there and have a really really nice game. If I had to guess though, I would agree with you. I feel like it'll be the Rams, and at the end of the day, I do think it'll be Seattle.
It's
Um,
probably going to be like a Rams like Houston, if we're being real.
well, listen, Houston could very easily get there. I can see them beating the Patriots.
Me too.
You want to flip to the AFC real quick. Um, I agree with you. I think I take the Bills coming out of the AFC. I think the Broncos are a tremendous team, but I think that the Bills could beat them.
Okay.
And
So if
I, I
it,
I think that the Texans are going to beat the Patriots. Patriots played sub 500 teams the entire year.
I'd love to see like a Texans Bills like showdown for the conference championship. That would be crazy.
Texans Bills would be really fun.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing that I'll give to New England, and listen, they have a really solid team. I think Vrabel's a good coach. Vrabel never seems to have broken through in the playoffs, though, if
Hmm.
you noticed. And then the other thing that the Patriots I think do very very well is Drake May, especially I feel like on third downs, is like really really good at moving the chains,
Hmm.
and taking what what the defense gives him. I just think that he'll be a little overmatched. I think he'll show his youth and his inexperience in the playoffs a little bit.
Probably.
And I think it'll be just enough for the Texans to win. I think it's a one score game,
Hmm.
but I can see the Texans holding on and beating them. And then it'll set up nicely for Bills Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I'd say Bills Rams Super Bowl.
Bills Rams
and
Super Bowl.
I'd probably have the Rams win and breaking, like, for whatever reason Bills just can't seem to come through in the Super Bowl. But yeah, I guess that'll be my pick to win it all.
I'm hoping it's Bears Bills, and my pick would be the Bears because Buffalo's a
Top
rival of
Bears.
us. But
Listen, I'd love nothing more. It'd be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun.
yeah,
I'd love to see the Bears win the whole thing. But I just I think it's a little too early. I think it's a
might be.
little too early for them.
It might be. All right, so I just want to touch on basketball for a little bit. Knicks are in the midst of the West Coast road trip right now. Um, they're going up and down. They're winning. I think they're going to end up doing like 500, just like you said. They took a hard fought effort loss against the Suns, who they got some dogs on that team. I mean, we were without Josh Hart that game. He came back for the game against who was it?
Blazers.
It was the Blazers. Looked like a totally different team with Josh Hart in the lineup, don't you think? I mean, it's like
Well,
he.
you see who at the expense of Tyler Kolek,
Hmm,
who now supposedly they said might have not completely fallen out of the rotation, but you might see a little less of him
yeah,
down the second half in the stretch.
yeah. We'll see. Um,
He
my
came back
brother
a
likes
little
to
early
mix.
too.
Yeah.
So listen, shout out two things real quick. Shout out to Josh Hart, for coming back. He said that the training staff probably wanted him, and in a perfect world he probably would have taken another couple of games off if they were rocking a win streak.
Mhm.
But he felt that it was really important to get himself back into the lineup, and so shout out to him. He's an absolute, and this is why we love him. He's an absolute dog and a warrior,
Yep.
and we appreciate him. But you know
Brunson's Mr. Consistency. Can we talk about Carl Anthony Towns for a minute here?
we have a
Uh,
Carl Anthony Towns problem.
we do, and I'm going back and forth in my mind with him, and it's annoying the crap out of me at this point. I think I'm more annoyed with him now because the whole barking at the refs has been a thing, and I'm growing impatient with it. Right? I feel like as soon as he gets those two touch fouls in the first half, his mind goes to shit. It just he's not a confident basketball player. He's physical. He needs to drive to the basket more often. And if he's not getting the calls, who cares? Just run back on defense, man. Come on. There's a reason why your ass got benched for the last 10 minutes of that game against the Blazers. I mean, he was a -3. He had a double-double, but he was putting no effort on defense. You had Mitchell Robinson finally hit 25 minutes. Finally! We're stretching him out. We need more of that. I don't know, man. It's such a love-hate relationship with Cat. When he's on, he's awesome to watch. But when he's barking at the refs, he just annoys the crap out of me.
I think you do need that other defensive big. There's a reason why there's so many rumors, and regarding Yabusele and regarding Cat for that matter. One of them, I'm actually kind of like I feel bad, but at the same time, I feel like finally it's over. Like, thank goodness I don't have to hear Cat for Anthony Davis anymore. With that broken
Yo,
hand,
can,
like
can we
thank
talk about that for a
freaking
second?
God.
Oh my God, Shams put out a tweet. He said something like, "Oh, Anthony Davis is gonna have to have surgery, and he's gonna miss like 9 or 10 months or something like that." And then an hour later, he retweets his own tweet, or he quote tweets his own tweet and says, "I made a mistake. He's only going to be out for a few weeks. He has minor ligament damage." And then you had Anthony Davis saying lies, like tweeting these guys like this is made up. This guy is made of glass either way. There's no way around it, bro. Like, even if he's going to be out for 7 months due to his surgery, or if he's not, he's just going to get hurt again. And the list of injuries he's had this year, like, I'll find a screenshot of it. We could post it right here. It's unbelievable, man. That guy
Yeah.
needs to retire. I'm sorry. He's an all-world talent. He just can't stay on the floor.
Maybe he needs to shave the brow. Maybe that'll
That's all he
unlock it.
needs. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. The interesting name that I saw floated out there, and I wouldn't mind it. Sochan from the Spurs,
Ah,
right?
yeah, he's kind of a dog.
I defensive player.
He's the
I
one with the
don't
green hair.
know how serious that rumor is that came out, and forgive me, I don't want to misquote
He's the
who.
one with the green hair, right?
I believe so. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Little Rodman in him, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But he's a guy that I would look into. I don't know if the Spurs really are. I mean, I think it's just a straight up rumor. I don't know if the Spurs are even floating him out there,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't mind a guy like that on your team.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could do something for like Yabusele, and like I think it was Dottier and
Yeah,
Yabusele.
Dottie Yabusele. You've had people talk about Jose Alvarado for the past couple weeks, but nothing's really coming of that just
Do
yet.
we need another defensive wing, like guard? Like,
I don't think we need another wing. We need size. We need like a Jaren Jackson type,
well, that was
a
the that
Daniel
was the other
Gafford.
that was the other rumor. So Jaren Jackson for Cat, a Cat based trade.
That I wouldn't be.
Would you do it?
No, I love the player though. I love the player. He just doesn't rebound, bro. He does everything right, but he doesn't rebound. If he could
You
just
might not
figure
need
that
that
part
though.
out.
Honestly, well, think of if Hart's healthy and you got Mitch in that lineup.
Oof,
You got two guys that'll grab you plenty of defensive rebounds.
so
Brunson's
nasty.
decent enough as a rebounder too. Um, like you have, I don't know, and then Bridges and Anunoby aren't like complete like schlubs either. Like they'll grab their share of rebounds too. I think you could stomach that. I
Mhm.
think you could if you're really serious about shoring up the interior defense. Um, and the more and more I think about it, I thought that Brown might have a little bit of an answer when Brunson and Towns are both on the court, because both, I think you're right, are defensive liabilities. Um, I don't think Brunson, is a complete crap defender. He'll take his charges, and I think he gives effort,
Mhm.
but I think he's undersized. He gets bullied around,
Yep.
and and then on top of that, you have a guy like Towns that he has all the size and I feel like the ability to play defense, but just for whatever reason, he's never been able to put that together.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be when is the trade deadline? A couple weeks from now. So
Yeah, it's like it's in February. I feel like
February
I feel
5th.
it's early
February
February.
5th.
Yeah.
Yep, lots of news will come down, and we will be definitely responding and reacting to that as the news comes about.
Feels
Real.
like we need to make a move though, right? I feel like more and more now. Like before, I was just like, ah, let's see, let's see, let's see.
Mhm.
Now I feel like they need to make a trade or two.
Yeah.
Um, a finishing piece here to really be a contender.
Yep. No, I agree. Um, Real quick, baseball news. Not much coming from the Yankees and Mets. Kyle Tucker. There are rumors floating around that the Mets are willing to offer him $50 million a year, which is kind of surprising, just because you had a guy like Alonso on the team who you wouldn't give more than like $30 million to, but he's like around the same age as him, plays more games than Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker is always out, not always out, but he's not playing as many games as Pete. I mean, kind of strange when you have the almost $1 billion man Juan Soto on the team. There must have been some bad blood between Alonso and the front office. Now that I'm thinking about it, if they're willing to offer this much money to Kyle Tucker.
I I think that they needed to make a splash. I don't necessarily call it desperation because Kyle Tucker's a hell of a player, but at the same token, I'm not 100% sure that um, it's one of those signings that'll age very well. Now, if you hear the rumors, it seems like it's a more shorter term deal, like
Mm,
a higher AAV, shorter term.
okay.
So we'll see, like, and who knows? I mean, it may include opt outs. Who knows what that contract truly looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm actually kind of looking forward for it to, near a conclusion. I feel like once that does, that's the domino that needs to fall for Bellinger to finally sign.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you want to talk about Yankees for a second, I don't. The more and more I'm looking at the situation, and the more and more you're hearing the news from the Yankees, and then also from Bellinger's camp, I'm not necessarily like, and listen, it seems like it's flipping every day, but I'm not really confident that they're going to bring him back.
I am confident because you don't hear of any other teams in the race for this. I mean,
Yeah, but it only takes one man. Once Tucker falls, one of the teams that loses out on Tucker
mm-hmm,
could very easily pivot to Bellinger and just make an offer that's higher than what the Yankees are offering.
mm-hmm,
It like you remember what happened last year with Soto, where where it felt like the Yankees were like, oh well, we made a competitive offer, and you start hearing the floated out numbers that they offered to him, and unsuccessfully didn't sign him.
mm-hmm.
I feel like the same thing's happening with Bellinger right now. I just don't. uh, oh well, we're giving him 155 over 5. And then supposedly, I don't know what the sweeteners are, but they supposedly gave him additional sweeteners in this deal,
Mm-hmm.
and some more incentives. But I mean, do I think they want him back?
Of course.
I do. No. I think the Yankees want him back. I do. But the Grisham thing really, I think, bit him
Yep.
bad, because I think if Grisham didn't sign, he didn't take that offer, I feel like we'd be in a completely different scenario. I think the deal would have been done already.
Yep.
But the other part of it to me is that I think the Yankees are very, very firm on their price. This is where we value the player, and we're not going anything more than that. I feel like the Stanton contract, I feel like the contracts they gave to Rodon, to Cole, to Freed, I think they know that those long-term deals might not look so good the last couple of years. And I feel like that DJ LeMahieu deal that they made, like they're
Mm-hmm.
paying him over what, $20 million, I feel like, this year to not play baseball.
No,
So
it's a lot less this year. I think it's like
it
15.
okay. Well,
Yeah, it's
you're paying a man $15 million to not play baseball for your team.
not great. uh,
I'm
in other Yankee news, we signed a pitcher today, Ryan Weathers from Miami Marlins. He's a
traded him,
left-hander.
traded for him.
Oh, we
We
traded
traded four prospects.
four prospects for this guy. I'm looking at his stats, dude. Career average ERA 4.93. Win percentage 34%. Um, his WHIP 138 is pretty decent. I guess he's a starter. I mean, sure,
They're slotting him into, I think, the fourth slot in the rotation as of right now.
cool. Uh,
Cool.
yeah, it doesn't really move the needle for me, but with the whole Bregman signing in the for the Cubs, right? I'm thinking the Yankees should go after their shortstop, Nico Horner. That guy's a player.
Is he? Is he? Isn't? Wasn't he a Cub?
Yeah,
Is he
he,
still a
he's
Cub?
on.
Oh,
He's
oh,
still on
okay,
the Cubs. He's.
okay.
I'm looking at his stats.
Oh, you
Nico
say?
Horner.
I'm sorry, Bregman. That's right.
Where, where's this guy gonna play now? I mean, this guy's a bona fide, starting second baseman. This guy, he's a career 300 hitter. He doesn't really hit for power, but great OPS.
He steals too. I feel like he steals some bases.
Yeah, dude. He had was it? He had 43 stolen bases 2 years ago. 29 last year, 31 the year before. That's a guy we need. Somebody who can get on base. Um, it's going to be interesting to see if they retain him. There are rumors saying that he's not going anywhere, which kind of, I don't know where you're going to play him, but it'd be nice to get a player like that. But that's just my opinion.
Can we con them into taking McMahon back in that deal?
I don't know about that.
It would be nice, right?
Yeah.
One can dream.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I feel like that's I would actually like to see Nico Horner on this team. I don't really know if they have can we talk really quickly about like that whole rumor, supposedly the Brewers and Freddie Peralta?
Oh, the Yankees are after him,
Well,
right?
yeah, the Yankees have said that they're after him, but supposedly what the Brewers are asking for is a steeper price than what they asked for Corbin Burns,
Damn. Wow.
right?
It's kind of crazy.
I listen, and out of all the out of all the rumored players that the Yankees were after, all right, so they missed out on the Marlin starting pitcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Peralta's out there. I almost kind of like Hunter Green, don't you?
Wouldn't be
Like
bad.
all things, I don't know what if you had to give up the same level of prospects, I'd prefer Hunter Green to all those other guys.
Hmm.
Give me the guy that throws 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, I agree. Hmm.
Yankees do well with those types of guys. They seem to unlock, if they can help him unlock a couple of his secondary pitches. I feel like that's a guy like, and listen, the one thing I don't get is I know they're going to be a little tight on the rotation early in the year with some of the injuries that they're going to have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But in a perfect world, I mean, do you even want Weathers to be, a fixture in the starting rotation when
No.
Rodon and like I feel like something would have had to have gone wrong,
Can this
you know?
guy? Can this guy like throw out of the bullpen? Like where? I mean, if you're keeping Schlittler, Rodon, all those guys from last year, I mean, you
You
got
got
Clark
Cole. I
Schmidt.
mean,
Like
you got Cole. You got
Luis, we
Freed.
still have Luis Heel, Clark
You
Schmidt. Like
got
we
you
have a
got
lot of
Heel. You got
starting pitchers.
Schlittler. Yeah, you have guys to fill out this rotation. You don't need 7 or 8 guys to fill out the rotation at this point.
Right.
So, Weathers might be a first month and a half type guy.
Why
Who
would you
was the
sign
who
somebody
was the
just?
guy we ended up catching the game pitching too? They have him too.
Uh,
Who
I'm not
was the
sure.
I'm trying to remember who that starter was. He pitched the majority of the year for them. He was like a rookie. I gotta look it up now.
Not sure. Slipping my mind.
I'm looking right now. Will Warren.
Oh, that's right. Will Warren, the
They got Will
goat.
Warren too.
Yeah.
So you got a bunch of guys there that I feel like if anything, you need another bat.
Mm. Yeah, definitely need more bats. All
And
right,
how
man.
how how crazy is that to say about the Yankees, by the way?
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, we're at the 1 hour 10 mark. I think we're gonna wrap this one up, put a bow on it for episode 6. Um, Appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, comment, do all that fun stuff. Helps the algorithm. Um, yeah. Any last words, Justin?
No, listen, I look forward to another exciting week of football. I just
Big
hope none of the
division
games are
round.
duds.
Let's go. Hopefully they're just exciting as it was this past weekend, and got some hopefully some good stuff to talk about
Be a
going
little
on.
fun to see a little snow in one of these games too, right?
Yeah,
Wouldn't
yeah,
that be a little fun? I don't want a blizzard whiteout condition, but maybe just a little bit of snow.
yeah,
That'd be kind of fun.
absolutely. Well,
Elements playing a role in one of the games. That would be fun to talk about, I guess.
for sure. All right, everybody, we are out. We will see you next week. Peace and love.
Peace and love.